Jason Black is on hold right now. Do we got you? Are you on? Wait a minute. Hold on. You on the air? You on the air, Jason?
No, I don't know. Am I?
Yes, you are. You know that voice. Everybody give it up for Jason Black in the building, creator of the 7 a.m. DVD. How are you?
It's an honor.
Well, I had never heard of you all before the last few months.
I love you.
I can't imagine where I was, though. This is a very interesting... I haven't heard people talking like this in Black society outside of what I do. Talking about money and economics and how that needs to be taken care of. So that was really refreshing.
I say,
we're happy that you're on the line. Shout out to Justice for setting this up for
Shout out Justice Culture Connection.
That's right.
Yes, out of Tom. Yes, he is. He is. And I just got to say, listen, Jason, this is the other sister that's been working with Justice. You know, he's going to be, we having y'all coming in Chicago August 1st.
Yes.
Bringing in Dr. Claude Anderson and Dr. Boyce Watkins. But I have to say, every day we're up at Culture Connection. East London Bridges is one of the people over at Culture Connection as well. Yeah. And he like, hey, Cassie, you know what time it is, right? And there it is, your voice, because you know you have a voice.
Oh, you always talking about your voice.
That is, I don't care what you're listening to, what station it is. When I hear your voice, I'm like, is that Jason Black? You know it.
You know it.
How long have you had that voice?
I like to think I'm valued for my syllables.
Hard in the paint. So just real quick, can you just, give the people out there, the few people that may not be familiar, with you and the work that you do, your background.
Yes.
Well, basically, I'm a guy who has a website called theblackchannel.net. I've been a serial entrepreneur pretty much all my life, and in the last decade or so, I've really taken up the mission that I realize that our problem as Black people is that we've been sold a lie, particularly the last 150 years. We've been sold a lie that our problem is integration, that our problem is lack of proper religion. If you turn it over to Jesus and the Lord, our problem is that we don't have enough schools.
Right.
But these are all lies.
Yeah.
Our problem as Black people is that we are the poorest people in America. That's the problem.
Yep.
Now, anybody who disputes that is just simply living in denial, even where they are. They probably think they can drive the wrong way up a one-way street. But the problem is that we are the poorest people in America. And why is that? It's a very simple reason. We do not own our own business.
Yes.
We are the labor force for everyone else. And the problem is that in a capitalist system, there's a hierarchy. Those at the top will keep the benefit. Those at the bottom will get what those at the top have relegated to them.
Right.
And that will always be a bare minimum. Well, guess what? We're the bare minimum people.
Yeah.
How's that working out for you? Everybody's talking about Everybody wants to talk about, for example, the gang violence in Chicago. What they are not talking about is the police violence in Chicago against Black people.
Yep.
Right.
A gang member can shoot another gang member, and he's going to jail. That's what's happening to him. A cop can gun down Black males every week in Chicago, and nothing will happen. That is the difference between the two. But wait a minute. Why are they able to do that? Number one, most of them come from the dominant society, i.e. non-Black. Number two, they have police unions. They have their economy together.
Yeah.
They have the business community behind them. They have the politicians behind them, and they use that for their benefit. Black people are the only people who show up, for example, on election day with our votes and nothing else.
No agenda whatsoever.
Right.
If you did not bring any money, politics is a system whereby which you divide a society's resources, money being the single most essential resource. But if you're the people who have no money, then what are you going to go vote for?
Right.
You're going to go vote on someone else's money. For example, if you're going to open a GM plant, well, I don't care how many people you have in your city. The owner of the plant is the most important person. And the politicians will have to do whatever he says, or else he picks up his plant and takes it elsewhere.
Right.
Doesn't matter how much voting you want to do.
Right.
We are the people who don't have an economy, and because of that, that leaves you vulnerable to all these other things. And until we deal with this issue of owning our own economy, then we are going to go extinct.
Yeah.
I did not say that we are going to continue being in the bad position. You hear people say it all the time. We'll continue being in the bad position. No, you're not. If you stay where you are, you will go extinct because there's an economic stranglehold, and a stranglehold does not put you to sleep. A stranglehold kills you. And the goal is to finish the unfinished business of slavery.
Right.
Well, what is the unfinished business of slavery? Every society that's ever owned slaves has one goal. First, you use the workforce, and then you liquidate it. You eliminate it. The goal is not to keep us here. We are an obsolete labor force, which means we serve no purpose except to gobble up resources from those who would rather keep it for themselves. They already have a replacement labor force. We are not needed anymore. So what you are undergoing is the world's most benign system of genocide that you've ever witnessed. It is slow, it is painstaking, but they are willing to simply wait us out for the next 100 years and watch us wither on the vine. And that's what you're witnessing now. We call it gentrification, but the real term is ethnic cleansing.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Because they're pushing you out of the cities and then pushing you to where?
To where? And this is something I've been talking about for a long time when, at first when people say, they taking me out the projects, I'm moving to the burbs. Right. Are you kidding me? You're moving to where there is no transportation and you are living on public aid right now. You have no car. There are no jobs out there. There's no access to nothing. You are going to go, no grocery store. Y'all going to go out there, fight, kill each other, and die.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not what you want.
Well, it's what they want, so they're moving us around.
Well, the thing is, powerless and now it's getting that idea. And I remember, I keep talking about this whole Lakeside community that's coming to the South Side, what they're going to call the South Side downtown, and which
Claiborne outlet, Eddie Bauer outlets, condominiums in the lake,
everything.
Oh yeah,
and
Sandy Jackson's old area.
Sandy Jackson's old area going further. And if you didn't know, and these are people who live.
Oh yeah, they already got it.
Man, but when you go, but if you people don't realize as you travel down, you could go down 87th Street. You think that commercial is the end. No. There was that old industry that they covered up with walls, and it's acres and acres and acres and acres of land. And this is where they're going to put this new community. And Sandy Jackson, these are all black communities currently. Sandy Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr.'s wife, is the one who put all of this together. And then they took her butt and Jesse's and put them both. He's about to go out. He's coming out. She's going in. Out. And they use her to set it up. And when you called the offices and asked about, okay, when this particularly comes, how much is the residence and stuff going to cost? We maybe to move in. We called.
No, people already have condos.
They already got it. But when we called in specifically, I said, okay, how much? She said, it's not going to be no
market rate.
No, wasn't the word. What's the housing? What's the house?
Section 8.
Section 8. It's not going to be no Section 8. First, ma'am, I didn't ask you about Section 8.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, though, this is a black sister who was answering the phone, one of her secretaries. So at that point, I knew that all that money that was funneling was not for us, and it's going to. And more importantly, they're going to create a whole new district over there, another ward.
They have a 50-year plan.
But what's going to happen is that people don't realize that the people who are currently in the 9th Ward are going to be affected because all your property taxes are going to shoot up. And the children who are getting past these houses, are getting passed down to these houses, they don't have the jobs to pick it up. The taxes are going to kill them alone. They're going to be moved out, and it's going to be over. And
well, let me say this. The people that I know personally that are already buying property and it's not even built yet, they're non-black.
Oh, no. They're Indians.
They're
Indians, I think, in Polish. People from overseas, even.
Oh, yeah, they already buying them up, but they haven't been built yet.
Yeah.
That's very interesting you would mention that because I just came back from Dallas, Texas, here about a month ago. And I witnessed a similar thing. I used to live in Dallas, and 635, which is a freeway there, the LBJ, that was always a zoo, but now it's a full-blown circus. And what I mean by that is it used to be just 4 or 5 lanes across. Now this thing has got 5 lanes in the middle, 3 lanes or service lanes on either side, and a toll lane in the middle. So what that means is in some places this monster is 16, 18 lanes across.
Wow.
You could not even walk across it if your life was on the line, not by the fact that the traffic is so outrageously heavy, but even if it weren't, you couldn't walk across it because it got those steep drop-offs from where the main road is, the service lane. Why did I just go on all that from what you just said? Because we all focus on gentrification. We all focus on, well, they can use the tax rates to blow up the tax value and price you out. But what we don't think about is how building all these new roads and in places like McKinney, Texas, Mr. Barrel Cop, Swimming Hole,
right.
Addison, Richardson, Irving, Mesquite, DeSoto, all those areas there, that's all blown up. And what I also saw was that something new since I left there 20 years ago was that a lot of the surface streets now are 3 and 4 lanes wide. So these are basically not even surface streets, they're actually freeways that essentially are on a surface street. But that's effectively a freeway if it's 4 lanes across all the way. I'm not talking about in some places, I mean just all the way. So we're essentially turning surface streets into freeways now. Well, why is that important? Because eminent domain is going to be plotted through the lowest property value. So you have your business community on the one hand that will build new property that blows up the property tax value. Eminent domain on the other hand, which will take away the poor neighborhoods and run freeways through them, and you will be left with nothing but survival of the fittest. Now, that situation that you described in building that new district of the condos in Chicago, I live in Shreveport, Louisiana, and we have the exact same thing happening here. If you go to Dallas, same thing. Atlanta, same thing. Washington, D.C., same thing. Harlem, Brooklyn, same thing. Wait a minute, there's a pattern here. And we need to understand that in the 21st century, the haves are going to annihilate the have-not. Now, we have a choice to make. We can sit here working and jerking. We can go line up in Nike Town. We can tell ourselves that the most important thing we can do this weekend, let me tell you all right now, all the weave wearers and the Nike buyers, they're going to go extinct here. I mean, that age is over. They don't need you anymore. And what you just described with the property values, they don't even want poor people like that. So the folks who are lined up to buy Nikes and stuff, it'll still exist, but they're going to it'll be a fashion model that just cut the numbers way down, which is really the point. They don't need poor customers. They don't need them. And with us, with becoming conditioned where we just accept poverty, what you mentioned about, well, these are non-black people coming into these neighborhoods. When I was in Dallas, and we went to, I guess I can go ahead and say this now, we were at the Hilton. And I'm at this place, in this great, big, huge, tall hotel building.
We got to go to break real quick, so just hold that thought, because we get in the trenches, y'all. This Power to the Village tune back in.
Here listening.
Jason Black.
United.
He is my king. He is my one. Yes, he's my father. Yes, he's my son. I can talk to him, cause he understands everything I go through and everything I am. He's my support system. I can't live.
My name is Reverend Charles Strait, and I'm the pastor of the Faith United Methodist Church and also the host of Faith in Action on UBM Talk Radio. Each Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we talk about issues of faith and social justice, and we'd like nothing more than for you to tune in and to call in as a part of our audience. That's Faith in Action each Monday at 11 a.m. on UBM Talk Radio. We'll be listening for you.
Tired of your plus-size pretty, crazy curves, or fabulous full figure being ignored or misrepresented by the media? Well, tired no more. Full Body Frequency, the 1-hour weekly show celebrating everything full-bodied and fabulous, is here. I'm your host, Laura Rice, and I invite you to join in the conversation as Full Body Frequency explores the truths and explodes the myths about the lives and loves of plus-size women. Every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Central on Urban Broadcast Media.
Reverend Dr. Leon Finney, CEO of the Woodlawn Community Development Corporation, on the benefits of nuclear energy and the potential cost of Illinois nuclear plant closures.
I've been a long-time proponent of nuclear energy. I think that the real issue always is the fact that this energy is efficient and is cost-effective. Should we lose any of the nuclear plants, there could be many jobs lost to our economy. To lose 8,000 jobs would be devastating. In many instances, that's enough jobs to take a community up or take a community down. Not only do I want to make sure that we have low-cost energy, but I also want to protect the environment for myself and my family and my grandkids.
Dr. Finney on the Illinois Low Carbon Portfolio Standard.
Right now, there are bills pending in Springfield that could protect this energy. I would have to argue strongly that we must do all that we can to make sure that those bills are not only passed, but signed into law.
Join Dr.